Welcome into the locker room presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond. I am your host, Namath Pitts, and it is all local sports here in East Alabama. That's what you can expect right here on the locker room. And we have been I've been pleasantly surprised at the feedback we have gotten of our wrestling previews. And we've done 2 wrestling previews so far with Weaver and Piedmont. And well, I got to tell you, you fans have spoken and said that, man, I appreciate what you're doing. You're doing something that has not been done right here in terms of the coverage we're getting digitally. Man, we plan on continuing to do this. So we're continuing our journey today and tomorrow with more wrestling content. And we are talking with 2 historical programs. Now, I feel like we say that all the time, like, oh, historical program. No, like, look at the success of wrestling here in East Alabama. When we talked with Coach Fulmer at Weaver, back-to-back state champions, runner-up 3 years ago. We talked with Piedmont yesterday. You go back to the Jack Lamy days of winning ways, and today is no different. We are talking Walter Wellborn High School Wrestling, led by head coach Ben Carroll. And this is a program, you go back to the 2009s, 2008s. We're talking guys like Dalton Carroll. We're talking guys like Tyler Causey, McCarson. The Screws. Simpsons. There's names that go on and on and on of wrestlers that have come through Wellborn at some point that have dominated. And there's more than that. Patrick Lindsay. There's the twin brothers. I can't remember their name off the top of my head, and again, I apologize to any former Wellborn wrestler, obviously from, in the 2009, 2008 range, but that was a dominant program that was winning state championships in their classification. Wellborn Wrestling actually holds, I think, possibly, I don't know the if I don't know if I'm accurate on this, but I would say that Wellborn Wrestling maybe has the most state championships of any sort at Wellborn. A dominant period there in the early 2000s into the 2010s. But now, obviously, here of late, the program has been down a little bit. But Ben Carroll, this is his second full year as the head coach, and he has got the numbers back up. And this is a Panther squad that is returning 3 state qualifiers from a year ago. Noah Screws, who got 6th place. Andrew Salster, who got 4th place. And then Dylan Murdaugh. They obviously lose Ahmad Noel to graduation, who's now wrestling at Montevallo. And I'm a Wellborn guy myself. I graduated from Wellborn. I wrestled at Wellborn for 5 years under Todd Manning. So Wellborn's program is really special to me, and I want to see it be successful. So we're talking Wellborn Wrestling today. But before we, talk more about Wellborn Wrestling, don't forget, guys, like our East Alabama Now page. What are you waiting for? All you got to do is go to the top of the page and press like. It's that simple. There's nothing else to it. You press like, press follow, and you don't miss any of our stuff each and every day, 5 p.m., The Locker Room. I'm your host, Namath Pitts, and it's all local sports here in East Alabama. Again, we're not just football on Friday nights, which is important. We're youth football. We're going to be at the championship games this weekend for Northeast Alabama Youth Athletics. We did volleyball. We did full coverage, state championships, regional games. We're doing wrestling, basketball, and wait till the spring. We're going to have baseball, softball, soccer, track and field. The action, bowling. Bowling, yes, bowling, guys. It's for real. All right, esports. We're doing it all right here. I got to give a shout out again to Nathan and Ashley Gobert. I got to tell you, I got the 2 best bosses in the world. These people work hard. They bring you everything you see every single day. I just get on here and talk, make it look real easy in front of a microphone. But no, they're the real hard workers behind the scenes. Just the freedom, the flexibility, different things they give me. Very thankful for them and their investment in me and investment in the locker room. But don't forget, it's not just the locker room, it's EAN News. Also, every night, 6:30 p.m. If you're not familiar with EAN News, it's EAN News. That's simple. You go find the Facebook page, like and follow that. Mike Stedham, everybody knows Mike Stedham, experienced college professor in broadcasting communications, has worked at different markets. He brings you your local news along with Katie Edwards, also experience right here locally in the TV digital world. Also very talented in everything she does in sales and in different areas, orthopedics, other than just being a great mom. That's Katie Edwards. And John Holder. Come on, you know John. You know him from football, but he knows just a thing or two about weather. All right, and I'll tell you what, he's going to have weather on your street. And then I'm just a little nobody from Wellborn that brings you your sports. But either way, that's every night on EAN News. But again, I want to welcome you into the locker room. We're talking wrestling. We're talking Walter Wellborn Wrestling. And Coach Ben Carroll's team returns 3 starters that were state qualifiers a year ago. Obviously, they feel like there's going to be a leap this year in Jerry Lopez. They're excited to see what Jerry's going to do this year. Outside of Jerry, obviously, there's other guys coming back as well in different positions. that Wellborn feels really good about. Now, I'm looking at this Wellborn team, and they had certifications this past Saturday. Obviously, the girls program as well. The numbers are up for him. Noah Smith's back at 106 this year for him. Xander Wilson is a guy that's coming back for him. Caden King's a guy that transferred in for him, that wrestled up in Bob Jones area. He's going to be for him. You're going to hear Zach Presley has obviously gotten better each and every year. Zach is going to be much improved, going to be a good wrestler for him. Ethan Carroll, certainly he hasn't been able to stay healthy the past 2 years, but Ethan's definitely, the sky's the limit for him in terms of what he's going to be able to accomplish for Wellborn. And there's more, obviously, that I probably left out. I look at Dylan Murdaugh, a guy that got into state last year. Anytime you get to go to Huntsville and wrestle, that experience is certainly going to help you. And they've certainly got a good schedule. They're going to open the season up, obviously, with Lincoln, Childersburg, and St. Clair County. They've got a quad after that with Cleburne County, Piedmont, and Susan Moore. And I'm looking at this Lamar Wade tournament. Now, Ben Carroll is going to talk a little bit about this tournament. It's an all 1A through 4A tournament. And it opens the year up the first weekend right there in December. But look at some of these teams that are going to be at the Lamar Wade tournament. American Christian Academy out of Tuscaloosa. I think about guys like Jackson Elder, state champions from American Christian Academy. Asheville, been state champs, been right there in terms of being runner-up. I mean, the talent is there. Cherokee County, we know the talent Cherokee County's had the past couple years. Cleburne County, Coach Mayfield does a great job at Cleburne County. Their numbers are always up. They've always got people competing for state championships. Austin Mayfield, obviously one of them guys. Corner, don't sleep on Corner, much improved team. Deschler and Dora, state runner-up. I mean, two really good programs in Deschler and Dora. Escambia County, Montgomery Catholic, Oak Grove. Obviously, Oak Grove's got one of the best, 106s, 113, potentially in the state right there with Hill, a defending state champion. Ohatchee, going to be really good this year, going to be really good next year, the Indians. Ramburn, always a really good Ramburn team. Reeltown, St. James, we know about St. James, historically dominant wrestling program. Of course, Wellborn Weaver, the back-to-back state champions. West End, Walnut Grove, and White Plains. Coach Mannon's team has certainly got returning state champion Tanner Jarrell, returning state runner-up Mason Hom. So the talent is there. All these teams, that is going to be as strong of a tournament as you have. Now, again, you're going to see highlights this year, and those highlights are presented by Lindsay Barger of Really Real Real Estate. Now, let me tell you guys a little bit about Lindsay Barger of Really Real Real Estate. That will get you a little tongue-tied if you're not careful right there. But I gotta ask you, do you love where you live? Well, let me ask you, are you ready to buy or sell? Because together with Lindsay Barger, we can make your home dreams a reality. She specializes in home buying, selling, and investing. Whether you want to buy a personal home, buy land to build a dream home, sell a rental home, or buy a home to flip and resell, she is your friend through it all. And I know that she would love to guide you in the process. So call her today at 256-441-2389 for all your real estate needs. And don't forget to like and follow her on Facebook and Instagram at lindsaybarger.realtor. All right, guys, we got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk Walter Wellborn Panthers Wrestling. Head Coach Ben Carroll joins us when we come back. You're watching The Locker Room, presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond.
Ted's Floors and Beyond is excited to introduce our all-new outdoor living collection. Have you ever dreamed of elevating or even creating an outdoor living space, whether it be for grilling, lounging, playing, entertaining, or just winding down? Our quality tile and stone, combined with our expert craftsmanship, will no doubt create unforgettable outdoor moments with family and friends, while also enhancing the beauty and value of your home. Call us today.
For metal buildings in Alabama and the Southeast, Waldrop Manufacturing is your one-stop source. A Waldrop metal building provides the coverage and protection your investments need. They specialize in carports, RV covers, portable buildings, and storage buildings. Stop paying rent for storage. With Waldrop's price per foot, you can actually save money by buying straight from the manufacturer. Waldrop buildings are guaranteed because Waldrop manufactures buildings with U.S. steel right here in Calhoun County. Waldrop Manufacturing, serving the entire Southeast. Give them a call today. For over 60 years, Oxford Lumber has been servicing our area, and our customer service has always been our main focus. Our customer service is what sets us apart from anyone else. From the moment you enter, our highly trained staff will treat you like family.
To enthusiastically provide total customer satisfaction within a positive and self-fulfilling employee relations environment. Visit us at any of our 4 locations or at oxfordlumber.com.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
Ted's Floors and Beyond brings you the locker room each and every day. Ted's Floors and Beyond has all your flooring needs, whether it's hardwood, laminate, carpet, tile, luxury vinyl. They have it for you right there at Ted's. You can go by their showroom there in Anniston and you can pick out what you like, want, need, and they can do that there at Ted's. Also, they've got their partnership with Wellborn Cabinet and will offer you a complete kitchen or bath makeover. That includes cabinets, countertops, flooring, backsplashes, tile showers. They can get it done there at Ted's Floors and Beyond. And now they offer you work on your outdoor space, whether it's an outdoor kitchen, patio, or living space. They have specially made outdoor tiles and stones that can enhance your outdoor experience. Go by and see them today at their showroom in Anniston on Highway 431, right before you get to Sachs Elementary School, or visit them online at shopteds.com. That is shopteds.com. Ted's Floors and Beyond brings you the locker room. Welcome back into the locker room presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond. We are continuing our preview of wrestling right here in East Alabama. And today we are at a historical program when it comes to wrestling. That's Walter Wellborn High School, my alma mater. This is really sweet for me to get to come back and talk with the head coach of the Walter Wellborn Wrestling program, Ben Carroll. And Carroll, that is one of those names. When you think Wellborn Wrestling, Carroll is a name you think of. Coach, wrestling season is finally upon us.
It is. A little sooner than I expected. We ended football season a little sooner than I expected, but glad that it's here. Glad to get back to work with these guys. Really looking forward to it. I think we're going to have a good season.
Coach, one of the things that small schools struggle with is they don't get to necessarily wrestle year-round, but you guys did get to do some summer wrestling. I know you guys held some summer duels here. Just talk a little bit about the summer and what you guys did to improve over the offseason.
Yeah, we actually started last summer doing some summer workouts in June. Last summer, it was just kind of let everybody get a feel for it thing. I didn't make it required just to get started. Coach Smith was really a big part of being on board with that. He really wants the program to be successful. But, you got to stay within those time limits during the summer. But this summer, we got some practices in and actually played a couple of play dates because we had some experienced kids back. And that's been really beneficial for us as far as getting the program up and running because, we were down there for a little while. When I took over, we had a lot of inexperienced kids. So getting some summer work has really helped us get some experience under our belt and kind of get the program rolling. It's been great. And then this season, actually, Coach Smith let us go ahead and start. Once junior high football ended, he let us go ahead and start with the girls and then the boys that don't play football. So they kind of got a head start too. And, we just kept the guys that play football focused on that because, like you said, in small schools, you're going to have kids that play multiple sports. Yeah. And I just wanted them to be focused on that season being as successful as possible. And now we're finished up with that and getting everybody together. And this week's been our first week with everybody together in the wrestling room. We've had 2 really, really good practices this week. So, the summer workout, summer work, all that kind of stuff has really helped us a lot. Our kids have come a long way in the last 2 years.
Well, Coach, obviously this program has, people go back to the 2009s when Walter Wellborn really dominated wrestling. And then, I think Todd Manning obviously did a good job here. And then after Coach Manning left, the numbers kind of went down a little bit. This program struggled a little bit. But one thing since you've really come in since, was last year was your first year as the head coach. One thing about you, coaches, and I noticed this at Sachs, you get numbers out. You're able, you seem to get kids to come out and do this, and you've built the numbers back up. But with that being said, you lose some to graduation. And obviously you lost a important piece who did battle injuries last year that's now wrestling in college, who was a state qualifier. But just talk about who you lost to graduation.
Ahmad Noel was the only senior that we had last year that we lost. And, man, I'm so proud of that kid. My first year helping with the program 2 years ago, I was the assistant with Coach Russell. And it was really Ahmad's first year really wrestling because the year before was the COVID year, and they only had 5 matches, I think. Yeah. So it was his first year really wrestling, and he ended up being a state qualifier for us that year. And then last year, Man, it was just like everything was stacked against him. You know, he started having seizures, and then got really, really sick over Thanksgiving break, spiked the high fever, missed over half the season, came back from all of that, and then the week of sectionals got sick, and I actually didn't think he would even get to end up wrestling at sectionals, but he did, and then dang if he didn't qualify again. Went and had didn't end his season like he wanted to at state, but he did have a good showing at state, good enough that, you know, he got some attention from the Montevallo coach, and he's over there wrestling at Montevallo now, so I'm super proud of him.
Yeah, Coach, with losing graduation, you get guys back. And I got to tell you, you've got two really good guys that we're going to talk with here in the next segment. But you think about Wellborn, Carroll's a name that comes up, and then Screws is certainly another. You get Noah Screws back this year. He's obviously continued to get in. He got in state last year. He ended up placing at state. And then you had a guy his first year last year as a junior. He's a senior this year, Andrew Salster, and he placed at the state tournament in his first season as a wrestler. Coach, obviously those two, but other than them two, talk about the guys you got coming back this season.
Well, we actually have quite a few experienced guys coming back this season, and some are going to be really good wrestlers for us. My son Ethan will be back, and the last 2 years he's actually had injuries both years and hadn't got to finish his season. He hurt his back his freshman year, and then last year tore his hamstring. So he'll be back this year. Zach Presley, really good wrestler for us. You know, he had some things that he was battling last season, but he's doing a lot better now, and he's going to come back and be really good for us. Dylan Murdahl, I've been wrestling for a long time for us, and he'll be back this year. He qualified at state for the first time last year. Jerry Lopez came out of nowhere last year, first-year kid, you know, missed qualifying for state by one match. He'll be back. He's going to do well for us this year, but Noah and Andrew, I'm really excited about. I think they both have a shot to win a state championship this year. Noah is, of course, one of those Screws. He carries the Screws legacy with pride. I mean, that kid works probably as hard as any kid I've ever coached. He's just an absolute workhorse in everything that he does. And then Andrew, if Andrew can get out of Andrew's own way, Andrew will do really good things this year. He reminds me a lot of Trey Bolton that I had when I was at Saks. Trey came out, first-year wrestler, placed at state, came back his senior year and won a state championship. And so, you know, I got Andrew first year as a junior, placed at state, and comes out this year. You know, he's number 2 in the preseason rankings at 215. He's got a really good shot to win a state championship this year. So, just strong as an ox, you know, just kind of natural on the mat. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to those guys being back, really looking forward to this season. We've got a good foundation built here with the program, and looking forward to seeing where it goes.
Coach, obviously you've got really strong assistants as well. Obviously a program is as strong as its head coach, but people sometimes don't realize the importance of the guys that are helping you. And obviously another one of them historical names right there that's helping you, but also not just high school, your youth program. You've got really strong people that are building your youth program. The numbers are up there. Just talk about the guys that are helping contribute to this program right now.
So our youth, we've got Chris Smith wrestling with us who, you know, in that stretch from 2005 to 2009 right there were a few Smiths that wrestled here. Him and all of his brothers. Yeah, him and all of his brothers wrestled here. And, you know, really good background there, really good wrestlers. Matthew Lindsay's helping. Yeah, so, you know, Jeremiah McPherson, and it's Wellborn guys that's helping. And I think that matters, you know, because it matters to them. They take pride in it. We've got 55 kids that signed up in our youth program this year. So, I mean, even if we lose 20 kids, it's still 35. That's a great number for youth. So, it's a good thing that we upgraded our wrestling facilities because we wouldn't have room for them if we hadn't. But I'm really looking forward to, you know, here in about 4 years when all those kids start getting up to me, it's going to be great because, look, your youth program feeds your varsity program. It gives you a good head start. But as far as my varsity coaches, yeah, look, I knew when I took over as head coach I was going to have to get some guys in here to help me. Because when you're the one guy that knows what's going on in the room, it's impossible to be everywhere you need to be. So, of course, I brought in my nephew, Dalton Carroll.
Everybody knows that name, right?
Yeah, 4-time state champion here. And then Christian Presley, who was also a state champion here. So brought those guys in, and look, they've done a phenomenal job. I couldn't do it without them. Last year, you know, I just kind of had them sparingly, but this year Dalton will actually be a full-time assistant with us. Practice every day, every meet, every tournament, and that's going to be huge for our program and kind of just giving us a shot starting out, you know. And then Christian's here every chance that he gets. I mean, I can't say enough about him. He volunteers his time. works a full-time job, and then comes in sometimes right when he gets off work and pours into these kids, and that's really what it's all about, so.
Coach, one thing Wellborn's also always had that has seemed to kind of fizzle out over the years is they always had a really strong tournament during MLK weekend. Well, you're introducing a tournament this year that's going to be the first weekend in December. And I was looking at the teams on track wrestling. They're going to be part of this tournament. I mean, you got some teams that you're not just going to see locally, but you're going to see at sectionals. You're going to see at state. Talk about what went into, creating this new tournament, and talk about the teams that you got to be a part of this tournament.
Well, what I decided I wanted to do was I really wanted to host a tournament that was 1A through 4A, because that's the guys that we're going to see. And I wanted to host a tournament that can be on a weekend where all those 1A through 4A teams can come, and it can basically be like a little mini sectionals for us. And so December 2nd was the weekend that we decided on, because that was the weekend when most teams were free. We got 18 teams committed to it. We got literally 9 are from the south, 9 are from the north. So it's going to be like a little, mini sectionals for us, and give us a look right off at the beginning of the season of, what is it going to look like? Who's the best guys we're going to face? What do we need to work on to be prepared come February? Because like I tell my guys all the time, it doesn't really matter how you wrestle in December and January. It matters how you wrestle in February. So I'm really excited about it. We're going to run it in our new gym, which is one of the best gyms to host a wrestling tournament around here. We're going to run it on 4 mats. It's going to be huge. It's going to be a great tournament. Parents are really excited about it. The kids are really excited about it, and it's going to give us a good idea of what to work on going forward this season. So I'm pumped about it. And we're naming it the Lamar Wade Memorial after Coach Wade, who was a longtime wrestling coach here. Coach Wade did a lot of things for the wrestling program here, the football program. He did a lot of things for me personally. He means a lot to me, meant a lot to this community. And so I felt like he needed to be honored. He needed his name on something. So we're going to call it the Lamar Wade Memorial going forward.
Absolutely, Coach. Obviously, we're talking Wellborn is a program that people know across the state because of the long history of winning. You're a Wellborn guy. Now, I know for me personally, I think I've told you this in the past, I've seen this program, kind of the struggle it had a couple years ago, even as a graduate. And I remember thinking, Ben Carroll's going to Wellborn. And I'm thinking, Lord, I think I even prayed this at one point. Like, put Ben Carroll in the wrestling program. You're coaching basketball your first season. And I remember going, because someone needs someone that believes in it, that's going to pour their heart into it. And you've done just that. But I know it means a lot to you to be the wrestling coach here. Talk about what it means to be a Wellborn guy, but also have the success that this program has had for as long as it's been here, to be the head coach of that.
Man, it's hard to even put that into words. I feel like God absolutely had a plan for my life, and the path that He set for me was exactly what I needed to do and where I needed to be when I needed to be there. It took me 16 years to get my degree so that I could coach varsity sports. And when I graduated, my hope was I'd get my degree and come straight home, and that didn't work out. I went to White Plains, coached volleyball and softball, which I loved, by the way. It was awesome. Loved coaching those girls out there. They were phenomenal. And then I went to Saks and got to, be the head coach of the wrestling program there and kind of turn it around a little bit and give it a kickstart and get it off the ground, and then pass it off, which they've done great with it since I left. And then I got to come home, but I didn't get to have wrestling right away, which was fine. I knew that it would happen eventually because I just trust in God's path for me. So, and then here I am, and it's been special. This program, we do have a rich history of winning here. I remember being a little, mat rat running around when I was like 6 or 7, watching my brothers wrestle for Coach Wade and being at practices and then coming up and wrestling in it myself. I didn't finish out wrestling in high school, which is one of my biggest regrets. I made mistakes, didn't end up eligible to play football my senior year, which was really my sport. And that was really what led me into coaching. I wanted to come back home and coach kids that were like me, that came from where I came from, and help them not make the same mistakes that I did. Mm-hmm. So it means a lot to me to be here. And I really think that's why our program struggled for a while. It was really just finding the right guy. Because look, Coach Manning is a great coach. He did great things. He's doing great things at White Plains. I mean, look at what they're doing already, with a program that's really just 4 or 5 years old. Coach Tanner was here for a while, and he went on to bigger and better things. He was a great wrestling coach, but I think it was really just about finding the right guy to be here because it's different here. It's different at Wellborn. The kids are different. You know, trying to get the program back on track was different. We're a football-dominated school. That's no secret. You know, football's been big at Wellborn for a long time. It's always going to be big. It's what our community's about. Our community's driven behind football. But I feel like, personally, football and wrestling go hand in hand. You know, and so I think it just took a guy that was going to be invested in the Wellborn wrestling program and do it the right way and, you know, not try to steal football's thunder. And so, you know, football means a lot to me. That's really my sport. So it's been a pleasure getting to work with Coach Smith, and he's been on board with it, you know, from the jump with me. We just had to do it at the right time, the right pace, and kind of build it up. And now I feel like we're back. You know, we qualified 4 guys last year. The goal is to qualify 8 this year. I want to be competing for a state championship next year. The expectations are high, and the guys know it. They've laid the foundation, and it's time to get to work. Yeah, get it back where it's supposed to be. Add to this case back here.
I was going to say, Coach, we got a lot of success in football, but there's certainly a lot of hardware behind me. So, well, that's the message for Wellborn Wrestling this year is work hard. I mean, that is the message that has driven this team, is to outwork everybody else. Coach Ben Carroll, the Wellborn Panthers. But, guys, don't go away. When we come back, we're going to have 2 seniors of the Wellborn Wrestling team. You're watching The Locker Room, presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond.
Ted's Floors and Beyond is excited to introduce our all-new outdoor living collection. Have you ever dreamed of elevating or even creating an outdoor living space, whether it be for grilling, lounging, playing, entertaining, or just winding down? Our quality tile and stone, combined with our expert craftsmanship, will no doubt create unforgettable outdoor moments with family and friends, while also enhancing the beauty and value of your home. Call us today.
Welcome to Room by Room Home Furnishings, a locally owned and operated furniture store located in Oxford, Alabama. We've been serving Northeast Alabama and the surrounding area since 2007. We offer stylish and affordable new arrivals and all the top trends to help you get a cozy and homey atmosphere with hand-picked home furnishings and decor to fit anybody's style and budget with knowledge, personality, and good vibes. Let Room by Room in Oxford, Alabama help you score amazing deals and turn your house into a home.
Wait! This isn't a game. It's your basement. It's filling with water. And even worse, it's 2 a.m. Who are you gonna call? Time's up. We'll come out 24/7, 365, any day, any time to put out any fires. Well, not actual fire, but there's a better number for that. But when it comes to plumbing, call One Tom Plumbing.
Welcome back into The Locker Room, presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond. I'm your host, Namath Pitts. We are here at Wellborn High School talking wrestling with the wrestling program. I'm joined by 2 seniors of the Wellborn Wrestling program, Andrew Salster, who's only a second-year guy. He's a senior. This is his second season, but he made it to state last year, qualified, ended up placing at state. And then we're joined by a name that everybody knows, Screws. This is Noah Screws, who's also wrestled for Wellborn the past couple years, made it to state last year, placed at state. Guys, the season is officially here. Andrew, how you feeling now that the season's here?
I've been waiting for it since towards the end of football season. I've practiced wrestling through the summer. I went to nationals during that part of the summer, and then I fell in love with the sport as soon as we started it.
Yeah, Noah, how about you, man? How you feeling now that the season's officially here?
I'm glad it's here. I'm going to miss football, but I'm ready to get started.
All right, Andrew, it's only your second year and you're a senior. Talk about what went into you deciding to wrestle your junior year of high school last year.
It was mainly just Zach Presley and Ethan. They just pressured me into it, telling me I'm strong enough to do it, and then I just gave it a shot. And then after I realized I can throw people around and not get in trouble for it, I fell in love with it.
Noah, you've been wrestling a couple years now for this program, but obviously go back to the time when you stepped on the mat for the first time. Talk about what went into that decision for you to say, hey, I'm going to start wrestling.
My dad wanted me to, and all my cousins wrestled in high school.
All right, he's a man of few words. That's one thing y'all are going to learn. He lets his actions speak, so don't expect a ton out of Noah in this interview. I'm just going to interview. No, I'm just kidding. Andrew, let's just talk about, you talked about summer wrestling. You guys got to wrestle during the summer. You got to host some teams during the summer. Just talk about what you feel like you improved in over the summer.
I feel like I improved in definitely on my shot. That's where I struggled with last year, and I was too scared that I was going to get underneath people's weight and just get messed up from it. And I practiced that ever since we ended that season because I had a match against the Asheville dude going for, it was supposed to be the state championship match, and I shot in, and it was a sloppy shot, and I got taken to my back for it, and I gave up points, and I just freaked out and just didn't wrestle the right way.
Yeah. And Noah, for you, just talk about this summer. You got to wrestle a little bit this summer. Knowing you were going to be the quarterback during football season, you could have made a decision not to come out and wrestle this summer. A lot of people, truthfully, didn't want you to come out and wrestle this summer because they knew you were going to be the quarterback, but you still did. You still came out and said, I'm not worried about an injury. I'm going to go out there and wrestle and try to get better in the little bit of time I can." Just talk about what it was for you to, go out this summer and improve.
Well, I was working for a state championship, so I went out this summer and wrestled. And if I got hurt, I got hurt.
Hey, I like the mentality, man. He's like, hey, I'm just, what I'm saying, we got to get better. You guys got a new wrestling room this year, so I want both of your remarks, just kind of what you think about the new room.
It's a whole lot bigger. It should be able to hopefully hold the wrestling team for at least another 3-4 years. But the rate that we should have grown, it probably won't hold that for the next 3-4 years.
All right, my boy Andrew about to graduate, and he's still focused on the future of this program. I like it. Know about you. Just talk about the room.
It's great. It's a real big atmosphere, and it's good for all the new wrestlers coming.
All right, let's talk about. Edit this. This has got to be edited, camera. All right, y'all just look at the camera. We're going to start back up. All right, guys, let's talk about this season. Let's talk about the team you got. Let's talk about Coach Carroll for a second. Is Coach Carroll an intense guy at practice? Is he a guy that gets loud? Does he yell? Or is he real laid back?
He's kind of the mix of the two. He gets mad whenever we start doing stuff and we get away from actually repping our techniques. But then he's also there. He'll joke around with us. We'll let us have a good time and just not be that overbearing about it. And he'll let us joke around, crack jokes, and just play around with each other every now and then. But make sure that we get our technique down.
Yeah, make sure you get your technique down. Noah, what do you think about Coach? Is he a loud guy at practice? Is he intense? Is he kind of laid back? I mean, because I get both from Coach Carroll. I've seen him real, and then I've also seen him just real laid back, like how he is right now. So what do you think about Coach Carroll at practice?
He's intense. He makes sure we get the work done, and he keeps us straight.
All right, talk about keeping you straight. Is there one guy at practice that Coach Carroll is harder on than anybody else?
Probably Xander.
Probably Xander?
Probably Xander.
All right, what about you, Noah?
I would say Xander or Andrew, making sure he has his technique done.
Okay, Andrew, he said that he's hard on you. Is he hard on you?
Occasionally. He just wants me to do my best. He wants me to win a state championship this year. And as long as I listen to him and I actually practice my technique how I'm supposed to and get it down pat, I should be able to.
All right, guys, is there a tournament this year? Obviously, I don't want to give any locker room material, so I'm not saying call any teams out by name or any wrestler by name. But is there any tournament this year that you're just really looking forward to wrestling in more than any other?
Definitely the dogfight, because last year that was like the one that gave us the most image about what sectional is going to be like, and then state, because everybody, that's our last tournament of the year, and that's where all the teams are going. And last year had everybody at 220 in there, and it just gave us the best look at what's the competition going to be like.
Yeah, Noah, what about for you?
I'd say the Wellborn tournament, because that's our first tournament, and then the Weaver tournament. They have a lot of good teams in there, so I get a good look.
All right, guys, let's keep talking a little bit more about this Wellborn program. There's been a long history of success in this program. This is a team that's won state championships. There's a lot of, awards and trophies behind me that have been, brought here in the past. What does it mean for you, Andrew, to get to wrestle for a program like Wellborn?
I don't really know. It's just I've never wrestled before, and I'm glad that it's going to be with a program that has a huge history about winning, and that there's also a big name like Carroll coaching us, and he's a great coach, and he's putting us on the path so we can add more to that trophy case behind us.
I know. What about you?
I'm glad I'm wrestling during the come-up when wrestling's starting to come up here at Wellborn.
All right, guys, let's talk about away from wrestling. Like wrestling, but away from the tournaments, the matches. You take away that, what is your favorite part about wrestling?
Just the work you have to put in. It's one of those sports where it's not where you can come into every single practice just goofing off. You have to be focused. And it's one of those sports where you have to claw and scratch for every single position you're in just to make sure that somebody doesn't get an advantage over you.
Yeah, Noah, what about you? Away from wrestling matches and tournaments, what's your favorite part about wrestling?
To win. You do all this work that you do at practice and stuff, all this running, and just get your hand raised. I like that.
Who y'all think's the fastest on the team?
Probably Carson.
Would you agree?
I'd agree. He runs track.
All right. How much running do you guys do?
We run a little circuit. I think Coach said it was like 1.5 miles long, and then we only run it once now. But Coach wants us to get to the point where we can run it twice at the beginning of practice towards the end of the year.
Yeah. What about you? About as much as y'all do?
Yeah, that's right.
All right. What's your favorite? Again, I don't want to give away any. Like, I don't want somebody to listen to this and go, okay, I know this is what Andrew's going to do when he gets in a match. But what are some, I guess, things you like to do? When it comes to practice. I don't want you to say, I love high crotches, because then somebody's watching, they're going to know, okay, Andrew likes high crotches. But so maybe not give away your favorite thing, but what are some things that you like working on at practice?
I like to practice throws. It's just one of my favorite things, just knowing that I can move somebody around like that. And I think that's just a tell from how I wrestled last year, so it's not really giving away nothing.
Yeah. Have you ever tried to throw Noah at practice?
I haven't tried to throw Noah. He's a little too small for me to throw. I don't want to hurt him.
All right, what about you, Noah?
I like running tilts, getting the back points.
All right, he likes the back points. All right, guys, last question. Obviously, Coach chose you two for this interview. You are seniors, but I know that you're leaders on this team, and that's got to mean something to you. Just talk about being a leader on this year's team and kind of how you want to help your teammates be better this season.
I just really want to make sure everybody's head's straight and we're actually all focused on the same goal, because hopefully, I know we're still a young team, but I want it to be to the point where we can actually have a shot at winning state as a team this year. And I really feel like we can, as long as everybody focuses in on their technique and we just get it all down pat and we wrestle to the ability we're capable of.
Yeah. Noah, what about for you?
I'm going to push all my wrestling partners and push them to be state champs this year.
All right, Noah Screws, Andrew Sauls for the Walter Wellborn Panthers Wrestling Program. Keep an eye on them. They have one of the biggest tournaments of the season coming up to kickstart the year. We will be there. So whenever that weekend comes upon us in December, we'll be there with all the highlights, interviews after the tournament, and a whole lot more. That is what we're going to do this season. Right here on East Alabama Now's The Locker Room, as we're going to cover wrestling in a way like it has never been covered before.